Hello, and welcome to... this is just going to be a campaign now. It doesn't have a set night that we play this, but for crying out loud, this is the fourth in this series, I think now? Third or fourth?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's the fourth because the first one was specifically a one-shot. Working title, Moe's School for Gifted Youth. It's Cypher system. Everyone's playing a superhero in a small town. Superpowered teen in a small town. It's fine. My name is Crash. I'll be your GM for the evening. Tonight, I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, and Io. Beth, who are you playing?
Caleb, the capybara, who's also a shapeshifter, but, who has not, I think, actually said anything yet and has never shifted into a speaking form. I love this.
Everything was just you were projecting emotions through stance and judging or not judging.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have Ellie. Who are you playing?
Trajectory, the fastest woman on Earth. Asterisk aspirational.
However, you have unlocked the achievement in episode 0, I believe, or however we're numbering them. I don't know. Math is a matter of opinion right now. Many people just shook their fists and deleted the channel. But never mind about that. But you unlocked the achievement of speaking so fast that the GM did not understand what your speedster was saying.
I heard it.
And I appreciate that. And last but not least, Io, who are you playing?
Quartz, who is a humanoid, crystalline... I'm trying not to finish that sentence with entity because of snow. They are not that kind of crystalline entity.
You do not go into space and sparkle and eat planets.
No.
I mean, not with that attitude. That would require... Sorry.
I help people and hit things.
For you to eat planets, you would have to change a lot. And we all know Quartz never changes.
Very dependable.
I heard that snort. I heard it.
Do not tell people, but sometimes I do take a scoop of gravel out of the ground.
Actually, we can all tell when you do that. You are translucent after all. All right. So, tonight, our episode is called Founders Day. It is, as I readjust my windows so I can see my notes, which may or may not be a whole half hour old. The town you are in, which I have not named yet, is celebrating its 280th year of existing. The local park has a carnival, games, live performances, a craft fair, a car show, and more. You have been sent there for 2 reasons. 1, Mo has an envelope, not a letter envelope, but like the larger, slightly darker than manila style envelope that he'd like you to deliver to one of the bands who are going to be performing tonight, ideally without bringing a lot of attention to the fact that you are delivering this envelope. But also, he's given you each some spending money and told you to enjoy yourselves.
Spending money. The capybara will go and take the spending money in their mouth and stuff it into a pouch and, bring the pouch for someone to tie around their neck.
I'm just imagining
time of year is it?
It is right between spring and summer.
Okay. Didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
It's a good question. I neglected to point that out. Considering when we're recording this and when we'll go live, it is not spring or summer. Not close to either. But that's when this is taking place right now, actually. So it's the kind of time of year where you would be able to have a carnival and a lot of outdoor events without people, freezing to death. Matter of fact, it's warm enough that the park has a pool that has a whole one water slide, but it does have a pool that is open for public use. Usually there is a fee that you have to pay to use it. but that fee is waived for today, and they open like the side gates and everything so people can come and go as much as they want. There's no alcohol allowed to be imbibed on the premises. There's always people who skirt this rule. There's always people who ignore that there are people skirting this rule, but it's something that's enforced when somebody decides to make a nuisance of themselves. There are 3 different venues where there will be bands performing. They're not really performing right now. There is a pavilion that is set up in the center of the craft fair area. And there is a band that is like doing warm-ups and stuff and working on their instruments. They are a big band. So like lots of horns and stuff. And they play dance music from like the 1940s and 50s. But they're not like, they'll play a few bars and then they'll talk over what they're supposed to be doing. They're not actively performing. People are sitting and watching that anyway. There are 2 stages, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 2 tonight, right at dusk, is when all the performances are going to happen. So people will pick which one they go to. Well, at dusk, there's going to be a band at stage 2 called The Cool Dad. They are a cover band who's going to be playing music from the 80s and 90s. There is open debate as to whether or not they are not cool or think they are cool. And they are going to be on the other side of the craft fair. And on the other side of the car show, which takes up a large portion of the parking lot here, because a lot of people are going to be walking in, so the parking lot was just turned into the car show. Well, on the other side of that is stage 1. Which is kind of far away from everything else, but it's also the largest venue that's at the park. And that's going to have Giga Undeath performing, which is not that common a thing. It's not the kind of band that would normally play in a small town like this. But apparently they are playing here for free because of a child's Make-A-Wish.
Point of order. I believe the band's name is Giga Unalive.
You are correct. Now I'm
Well,
definitely going to be
mistake
taken off
to
of
make.
TikTok.
Dun dun dun. I feel like Giga Undeaths would have zombies.
Not anymore. The smell was starting to be a problem. And Io, you were saying something.
I was saying that easy mistake to make, and also that if undeath is resurrecting people into a half necromantic half state, unaliving someone is killing them into a necromantic half state, which I don't know why that needs to be distinguished, but
They're meeting in the middle. It's a compromise.
yes.
In any case, Giga Unalive is the band that you've been asked to deliver the folder to. So the question is, what do you do? Do you go and enjoy something first and then go to try to deliver the folder? Do you deliver the folder first and then enjoy yourselves? Do you enjoy yourselves by delivering a folder?
Phelan votes to deliver the folder and will indicate this by trotting in the appropriate direction with frequent look over the shoulder. You're following, right? You're following, right? Right? The person with the hands who's holding the folder is following, right?
I do enjoy being helpful.
Who's holding the folder?
Trajectory?
Trajectory is double fist and cotton candy.
You do have spending money.
It seems
May I-
that Quartz is holding the folder.
May I yes and the double fisting cotton candy?
Sure.
Normally, one purchases cotton candy and they take a paper cone and put it in the machine and wrap the cotton candy around it. When you said you're double fisting cotton candy, at one point, Phaleem looks back to see if everyone's following, looks forward again, looks back to see if everyone's following. You were there both times, Trajectory. But the second time Phaleem looks back, you are there with cotton candy wrapped around both of your hands. It was faster than waiting for the cone.
Well, obviously, just don't burn your hands.
I can see the character art here. Trajectory is clearly wearing gloves. But yes, so Quartz is holding on to the folder. And you are walking through the car show. You actually have to walk past the small skate park, it's a fairly recent ad. There's a few concrete structures that were put into an area that we basically walled off part of the parking lot that was kind of off to the side. It didn't fit well with everything else anyway, so it made sense. There is a half pipe that got set up that is covered in the kind of paint that one puts on stuff when they are covering up graffiti. It looks fresh. It was possibly done right before Founders Day. And there are several teenagers that are there who are just like, well, you're teenagers as well. So they're just staring at the three of you as you walk past. Falim got past without them noticing. Eo, I believe you were saying something or no?
Was that not picking me up very well?
I heard like 2 syllables. The previous time when I asked, sorry.
I said that quartz waves.
Ah. One of them sort of half waves back. The other two are just staring. They don't tend to see someone who is as large as quartz and of the composition of quartz. Outside of Fortnite, anyway. Or fork knife, as I'm told it's called. All right. So
You called it what?
Fork knife.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. What are you going to eat the chicken dinner with? You need the utensils.
Phelan doesn't need utensils. Phelan just needs a plate.
I thought capybaras were vegetarians.
That too. But I mean, Phelan is occasionally not a capybara, as some people may be aware.
Also, it could be tofurkey.
Indeed.
Okay. And now you are walking through the car show. The car shows will frequently have a theme. This car show's theme is, we're having a car show. So there's some cars that are more like jalopies, and like you think there's a Model T over there. There's some cars that are from the 50s and 60s. There's more than a couple electric vehicles. Most of them appear to be bespoke in their crafting to various degrees of construction. Some of them do have fiberglass shells on them, which look kind of neat. Some of them, well, I guess you can strap a battery there. So they strapped a battery there. I'm not sure that's a good place to put a lithium-ion battery. They do tend to explode if you rupture them. Usually that spot's for a crumple zone. But I guess you could put a battery there. It's okay. They're not driving it anywhere right now. It's in a car show. And there's various people milling around. And you've gotten to the stage
they're
area.
showing us what not to do.
Yes.
One hopes.
Well, the person who strapped the batteries everywhere is currently wearing goggles. At one point, they take the goggles off to adjust them, and you could see that the area underneath the goggles is several shades lighter than everything else. It occurs to you that this is not because of a tan. Those are blast marks. It might be recent.
Concern.
The car does
So
not
much
look like it has blast
concern.
marks. Well, you're moving further away from it now, and you're walking past signs that have been hastily hung up, recommending ear protection for those who go past this point. Some of the signs are actively being hung up. However, there is no band on stage. There's some roadies that are setting up for the band. The area for the audience is, there's a few people who are sitting down here who seem to have wandered over from the car show. But if you were to stereotype, you would say that they are not individuals who would likely stay for a heavy metal show by a band called Giga Unalive. Other than the roadies and the few individuals who have sat down, you don't see anyone else.
Perhaps we are too early. The band does not appear to be here yet.
An elderly man who's one of the ones who's wandered over, who appears to be dressed in clothing that might be older than the Model T that you think you saw, says, "Oh yeah, they're not starting the shows until dusk. Supposed to end right in time for the fireworks afterwards."
We have a letter to deliver to the band.
"Oh, do you now? Well, you could probably hand it to one of the people who are setting up. Nice young people. Or, well, they're probably around somewhere. Might be talking to that Make-A-Wish kid."
That sounds likely. Thank you.
"Not a problem. Have a wonderful day, young, Pebble? Sorry.
My name is Quartz. Pebble is somebody else.
Nice to meet you."
She only covers herself in rock.
I'm going to smile and nod. I like how this universe is expanding in these conversations where just mentioning other superheroes, sometimes just in the chat.
Mhm.
I believe I have to go back and double check, but in episode 0/1, whatever it was, there was a super teen who was named specifically just so Ellie's character could steal from them. Borrow. You could
Yeah.
borrow their wallet.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So, trajectory, what are you doing right now?
Eating cotton candy. I was about to
Okay.
say candy corn.
You have compressed the cotton candy into small cone-shaped pellets so that you can chew it faster.
I'm walking backwards around Quartz and Phelan so that I don't outpace them.
Ah, yes, the trick where walking backwards changes your walking pace, so you're not going too fast for the escort mission or too slow for the escort mission. I am familiar.
Exactly.
Yes.
God, yeah. Oof.
Phaleem, trajectory is walking circles around you.
This is normal. Phaleem is looking around for any possible location where there might be a Make-A-Wish child who is having people talk to them.
Okay. Give me an intellect roll. This is going to be difficulty 2.
Okay. Intellect difficulty 2 roll.
All right.
Beat it.
Well, that's a 9 on the die. So there is a sort of picnic pavilion area that it's behind some trees. You can just make it out, but there do seem to be some people over there. And there's also some burly looking individuals wearing black jeans and black shirts, and the shirts say security in a sans serif font across the front of them.
That does seem plausible. Phelan will start walking in that direction, towards one of the
Okay.
security ones first.
Okay. Quartz, you are seeing Phaleem wander off.
I
with
will
purpose,
follow.
which means not wandering. Okay. Trajectory, I'm assuming that you turn your circle into a parabola or ellipse in
Yes.
order to continue to walk around everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm going to say the trajectory, you are the first person to get there because speedster. So even if you were on the back end of the ellipse going around, you are the first person to get there because speedster. And one of the people with the security shirt holds up a hand in front of you and says, "Hold on. Where are we going?"
Actually, I'm not 100% sure where we're going. I was just following them.
Is that in character?
Yes.
Phelan
Oh,
stops and sighs.
okay. And the security person looks down and says, "Okay, so where..." I'm talking to a capybara.
The capybara sits down, looks up, looks attentive.
There's a capybara. Okay.
The capybara nods.
All right. Good. I am not currently seeing things. Thank you for your consideration. I am having a conversation with the capybara. Would anyone
capybara
like to tell
nods.
me what's going on?
We're here to deliver a message for our headmaster.
I'm sorry, there isn't a headmaster here right now.
No, he's not attending.
Well, I'm glad you've got that cleared up. I'm sure you can find your headmaster somewhere else.
4, not 2.
Yes. Our headmaster wishes us to deliver a message to the band.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. I parsed your sentence as the message being for your headmaster, not you're delivering it as a favor for your headmaster. This makes a lot
happens to me
more
too.
sense. Well, now that that's cleared up, sorry, you can't go any further. This is a private event.
That's a really nice gun. Is it a real gun? Do they let you have a real gun? Or is that a starter pistol? Or a taser? I like tasers.
You are making me considerably more nervous, but also it's a walkie-talkie.
A walkie-talkie that looks like a gun. I like it.
I'm keeping it in a gun holster because my 5-year-old decided to play with the walkie-talkie holster, and let's just say that some things don't wash out of leather. So I'm using a gun holster instead.
Oh, yeah.
The gun holster is plastic because it was for the 5-year-old.
Lime jello
so I got-
powder. Did you know that lime jello powder doesn't wash out of leather? I thought that was really weird.
So, where were you yesterday, and why didn't you explain that to my 5-year-old?
I was at school.
My 5-year-old was supposed to be, but they were homesick. Chicken pox.
Oh, that's the worst. Don't they have a vaccine for that now?
They do. They do. Do you know it's not 100% effective? It's effective for like 99% of the people who get it. We are in the 1%. I don't want.
Oh, that must be very nice for you.
No, it's not. It's not that kind of 1%. Anyway,
This is like
I've
the
said.
fourth time in this conversation where trajectories, the conversation in trajectory's head has gone on long past the conversation that actually happened.
I am here for this
I
content.
had gravel pox once.
That sounds bad. I honestly don't know how bad that is.
Phelim just nods. Gravelpox is clearly bad.
It was unpleasant.
For the record, I will state again, the GM is here for this content. The security guard is also here with this content. For it is not perhaps the right word to use, but with it, correct.
I had gravel pox once too, although I think it's not the same kind of gravel pox. Mine was when I tripped and then I had little divots in my skin from where I had to pick the gravel out. But,
Like the opposite of that.
oh, you had divots in your skin where you had bumps in your skin where you had to put the gravel in. I see.
See,
Anyway,
that's
we
why
have
I
folders
was
to
trying-
deliver?
Three of us tried to say something at once, and then we all stopped to be polite to the other two people. We're going to do
You can
this.
keep talking about the gravel. I'm just going to deliver this folder and I'll be right back.
I can't let you do
Quartz
that.
hands
It's a
trajectory
private
the
party.
folder.
Phelim just
It's
sighed.
all right. She'll be very fast.
Phelim
That's
is
not the
thinking,
point.
you'll never know she was gone.
This is a private event. I'm not supposed to let you pass. Trajectory, what do you do to get past this security guard?
That's an excellent question. Can I take the folder from Quartz?
Yep, Quartz is handing it to you.
Will Quartz? Okay.
Sorry, I guess I wasn't coming through again. I was.
It's
No, that may be me not having remembered what happened.
it did come through for the recording, FYI.
Oh, good.
So yes, the folder has been handed over to Trajectory. It's possible you reach over to take it and find that it's already being handed to you. For once in your life, you're surprised.
I have been continuing to walk backwards around the group. So I think just the next time I make a loop around behind the security guard, I'm just going to take off forwards.
So the security guard positioned themselves so that if you attempted to walk behind them, they were in a spot where it was more convenient and far less awkward for you to walk in front of them, even continuing to walk backwards. But I am here for the content of you switching from reverse to drive without using a clutch. This is going to be a speed defense, well, not speed defense task, but it's going to be a speed task, difficulty 2. He said to the speed.
Can I? Well, what am I? Never mind.
You get the opinion that this person would be
Can
better
I-
at might tasks than speed tasks. Yes,
Can I use my training and running actions?
of course.
Okay.
I'm assuming it a success for this. I just want to see by how much you succeed.
Yeah. I don't.
Oh,
How?
Even having reduced the difficulty to 0.
So that's a 1. GM intrusion time. But please tell me, Ellie, how does Trajectory not get past the stationary security guard?
Well, I have an inability in balance. So as I switch from reverse to drive, my feet don't quite get the message at the same time.
I can only picture this in the sense of a cartoon character doing this, because physics prevent me from imagining anything not a cartoon from attempting this task.
Yeah, that's
And I
fair.
love it. I absolutely love this. All right. So, yeah, your feet don't get the memo. It's possible you told them to move faster than your neurons could fire.
Unusual, but happens.
Well, when you're a speedster, maybe you can move faster than your nerves. So, how do you end up not balancing?
I land face first in the gravel.
Congratulations. This is your second case of gravel pox.
Gravel pox. Yes.
Yes. All right.
Phelim winces and sighs.
All right. Well, Phelim, what do you do besides sighing? Because Phelim is next in the initiative order.
Yeah. Phelan heaves a very large sigh, sits on their haunches, picks up the folder from Trajectory's hand, unless she's going to hang on to it.
No, I have. If
Okay.
Phelan wants it, Phelan can have it.
Tug. Carefully picks it up. They have capybaras presumably have like fingers or little hands or something that are just being a little bit more able to grasp a folder clumsily than you might expect, and twist and hold the folder up to the security guard.
Okay.
We can't deliver it, but maybe the security guard can? Look hopeful.
I believe that Phelan is trying to say that since our headmaster is the headmaster of a school for superheroes and he wants this message delivered to the band, it might be important that they see it quickly. Could we give the folder to you for you to pass it on to the band?
Phelan, give me an intellect roll. This would be, I like how a die rolls as I'm saying that. But that's Quartz doing fast talk. Oh, well, that beats much higher than I was going to require the roll to be. That's a 15. That beats difficulty 5. And I was going to include Quartz's wording as an asset. So I'm going to say this is a success on Quartz's part. What was that, Ellie?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back. Things are sorted. We know the mystery of what Ellie was trying to say. What was that?
SORTED.
Sorted. Yes, not the other thing.
Not sorted.
I appreciate it. Things have been sorted. We have all of the speedsters over here, all of the capybaras over here, all of the shiny happy people over here, all of the shiny because you're made of a translucent stone people over here.
I am not actually that translucent. I am not actually made of quartz. I merely look somewhat similar. And it is a nice name.
Of quartz.
But I do glitter in the sun.
Beth, did you just say of quartz?
Yes.
Yes.
You, who pioneers the whole concept of slapping someone with a fish for a pun.
You cannot see the grin that I am making. It is evil and wide and toothy.
You did this just for the halibut, didn't you?
Who, me?
You know, I wish I could give up puns, but I'm hooked.
It's all right. Rock on.
I'm fishing for compliments here. Anyway. Before the internet enforced break that took place, we had a 15 on a fast talk roll, which I'm going to say that the capybara's expression was an asset. So technically that would be difficulty 6. And the security officer looks down at the capybara, takes the envelope from Philem and goes, I'll see what I can do.
The capybara looks hopeful.
Are you okay down there?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Happens all the time.
So, I've got some friends who ride motorcycles as their main hobby. You might want to consider, like, a helmet that has, like, a full faceplate. Not because of, like, head injuries, but, you know, you do end up pulling less gravel out from between your teeth afterwards. And bugs. Bugs can be a problem. You probably already know that.
Yeah. Well, they keep telling me I need more iron in my diet, so...
You know, you could take a pill for that.
Yeah, but then I don't get to pick gravel out of my teeth.
The security officer opens their mouth to say something, and then wisely closes it, taps the envelope against their other hand a couple of times, and says, I'll see what I can do about the envelope.
You shouldn't absorb your gravel that way. That's how you get gravel pox.
The security officer has already wandered off. You all get 1 XP.
Phelan will just sit and wait for the officer to, watch over them. Okay, 1 XP.
No, I will not replace my current XP total with 1.
You all have exactly 1 XP. Whatever the total was before. No. That would be one heck of a GM intrusion.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I was planning on swimming through my XP like Scrooge McDuck.
The game doesn't let us do that anyway.
The game could. It's a recommended house rule that caps you at 10. But rules as written, you could just hoard XP until the end of the campaign. Okay, I'm going to fight the big bad. All right, you got to roll a nat 20. Okay, I'm going to re-roll. I'm going to re-roll. I'm going to re-roll. I'm going to re-roll. I'm 5 years later. 5% of the time, it's successful every time. Okay, so you have successfully defeated my security officer puzzle. You have the rest of the evening to enjoy Founders Day. What do you intend to do? I'm going to start with trajectory because you have initiative 15.
Do they have a roller coaster?
They have the kind of roller coaster that a traveling carnival would set up, so it doesn't go very high, but it does make you go around some tight corners.
Strictly speaking, it rolls and it coasts.
Yes. It is probably more for a younger crowd, but there are some adult. It's sized so that adults can get on it.
I like getting on roller coasters and marveling at how slow they're going.
I now have a headcanon of trajectory running alongside the roller coaster car, so that everyone who's in the roller coaster thinks that trajectory is like riding on the side of the car because the position doesn't change. Everything is a blur except for that one teenage girl who's just standing right there. But it does have a lot of the usual carnival rides. There's the kind where you spin in a circle, and the kind where you spin in a circle that's actually part of a larger circle. So it's sort of like if you drew out the plan of how you're spinning, it would be a spirograph. They have a small Ferris wheel, not quite large, but it does go up and then go around and come back down again. They have one where you are warned to have not eaten anything in the past 15 minutes before you hop on.
Spinny!
They haven't, pretty much all the carnival rides involve some type of spinning you. There's the kind where you all get into a giant circle and it spins you hard enough and then goes up on its side so that the centripetal force is holding you upside down at the top of the arc and you come back down again. If you are a brave person, you lean forward with your head so that all the blood rushes out of it and you get all woozy.
No, I
This
don't
is not
like
recommended.
this.
And they also have one of the, I believe they're called dark rides, where they set up a large, it's in a large container and you go in and there's various things that the little car takes you past that are like installations, and things jump out and try to scare you and whatever, and then you come out the other side.
Okay.
Defunctland did a whole show on those, actually, but never mind about that. They referenced a park I used to go to, Bushkill Park in Pennsylvania, which still exists. They flooded a few times recently. Moving forward.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, they have a small stream that goes completely around Bushkill Park. Like it splits and goes around both sides of it.
I feel like that's a minor. Yeah, okay, so it's sort of on an island.
It's technically an island. Most of the stream as it goes around the park is of the kind where you see Robin Hood men in tights going, look, I'm on one side of it, I'm on the other side. I'm on one side, I'm on the other side. It's not the point, it's the principle of the thing. It's also a floodplain. Yeah, so you've got games and rides. There are plenty of games as well. All the kinds of games you would expect to see at a carnival. Knock over all of the milk jugs with a baseball, throw darts, toss 15 bazillion basketballs through a hoop that is not at regulation height or size. Skee ball, because skee ball. Look, if every one of these episodes is some level of wish fulfillment, I'm putting skee ball in here.
Yeah. Phelim's favorite activity at carnivals is to go sit around the places that serve interesting food and look cute and forlorn.
Well, the food court-ish area does seem to have funnel cake.
Sit near the funnel cake place, look cute, forlorn.
There's also the deep fat fried area.
I mean, we'll move there when we're bored with funnel cake.
The deep fat fried area, there was supposed to be an additional word, but it's had new words taped up there so many times. Somebody just took a piece of cardboard, wrote things, and taped that over top of everything else. What do you want deep fat fried? If someone else is selling it here at the carnival, we can do it. If you bring it, we can probably deep fat fry it for you.
Because I am a nice person, I have not brought them any rocks.
They do have a little disclaimer that says provided foods must actually be edible.
This
or
is
at least
quartz.
not considered illegal by the FDA.
This is quartz.
I do not believe
I mean-
quartz is edible.
No, but quartz can edible a lot of things that other people could not.
Okay, so Phaleem is looking forlorn. And Quartz, what are you doing?
I am attempting to win a large teddy bear by throwing things at cups. Oh,
Okay. Let's back up because I misinterpreted what Ellie said. I assumed that you were in fact getting on the roller coaster to marvel how slow it was.
No, sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I said I get on roller coasters to marvel at how slow they are.
And I misinterpreted that.
But
so
I understand how that could be interpreted. Yes,
yes.
could be misinterpreted.
So what are you choosing to do?
But frankly, I was not splitting the party. I was going to walk in circles around Phaleem and Quartz until they made their minds up.
Except for one natural one, you are going to spend the entire evening walking backwards in a circle around your friends. This is not a complaint. This amuses me greatly.
Well, if they decide to do something interesting, I want to do it. Trajectory is having extreme decision anxiety right now.
It's choice paralysis, except you're in constant motion.
Pretty much.
Okay. So
Anyway, sorry, Eo.
oh no, don't be sorry. Quartz is attempting to win a large teddy bear by throwing balls at cups and is possibly going to attempt to get Trajectory's help in this endeavor.
okay. So you hand over it's a $1.50 to play this particular game. I said you had spending cash. How much you have is going to be nebulous for this because I cannot be bothered. Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. So, and they give you 3 oversized baseballs. You want to say they're softballs, but they're not they are not the correct weight to be a softball. And I'm going to ask you to make a might roll difficulty 3.
Is this an attack roll?
I'm going to rule it as such, sure.
All right, then that will ease by 1 step.
That's an 18. That would be difficulty 6. Congratulations, you have knocked one of the cups over. You have 2 more balls to throw.
I will offer one to Trajectory.
Sure.
Might roll difficulty 3.
Okay.
That's a 13. Congratulations, you have knocked over the center middle cup of the bottom. The rest of them stay standing. The ones that were resting on the center middle cup have leaned towards each other and are now supporting themselves. There is one more ball.
I would throw it as hard as I could, but that's how we got into trouble the first time. Well, not the first time. The most recent first time.
Anyone who wishes to may make an intellect roll difficulty 3.
Oh.
Okay, Quartz, you are fairly certain that all those stories you've heard of carnival games being rigged are not all true, but you're fairly certain that cups shouldn't behave the way these are behaving. You think this might be rigged. Trajectory, your train of thought, I'm going to say, because of the 3 that you rolled, is thinking about what other games you can play. Or that ride looks neat. Or, oh, darts, I could throw darts. Or, oh, yeah, there were cups. We were throwing balls at cups. Okay, you have one more ball to throw.
Trajectory?
Yeah.
I don't think that this game is set up fairly.
Oh. How do you mean?
The cups shouldn't be doing that.
I will go over and examine them.
Now, I will let you attempt this to be certain, but to go over and examine them, you will have to climb over the countertop where they've been placing the balls. I am going to say this is a speed difficulty task of 4. Okay. And it's eased because you're practiced.
It's eased because I have 2 shifts in dexterity.
That too. But yes. So before the carney can object, you're there looking at the thin lines of wire that are holding the cups up. And they're saying, hey, gonna ask you to be behind the
Oh,
counter.
you're right.
Stepping over the
I am
counter,
behind the counter.
invalidates all wins.
I am behind the counter. I'm doing what you want me to.
No, that side. That side of the counter. Where your friend is. This, by the way, is an intrusion.
Quartz smiles and waves.
They wave back. Somewhere on another world, a robot that looks kind of like a skeleton also waves.
Well,
Although, if Mo is here, JR could be too. Anyway, you were saying, Ellie.
okay, but can I take these wires with me?
Just get on the other side of the counter.
Okay. I will pick some wires off the cups and take them with me.
Speed task difficulty 5 to do this without just tearing everything apart. And that is eased, so you do succeed with a 14. Okay? Yeah, you disconnect the wires and you are back on the other side. You have one ball left to throw.
I'm really hoping I left all the cups exactly where they had been.
That was what the difficulty was for.
Okay.
Yes, they didn't even budge. Otherwise, you would have knocked at least one of them over, and the Carney would have said you disqualified it because you knocked them over on this side.
Now I have some wires.
You have one ball left to throw. What do you do? Quartz throws the ball. That's an 11. That beats difficulty 3. You knock over all of the cups. And in the process, knock over the cups that are on the next shelf over. And the next shelf over. Because they were kind of depending on those wires to hold them up when the slightest bump happened. And this is a Carney game, which means the whole thing is on wheels and doesn't have much of a suspension. Quartz,
Oh no.
you now have a large, fluffy teddy bear that is perhaps 1/3 your size. And there is one carnival game that is currently, it has the gate down and a sign on cardboard that says closed for repair.
Quartz attempts to go in for a hug. On trajectory, not the carting.
Thank you for
Trajectory's not
clarifying.
going to try and stop it.
Okay, you take 2 mic damage. No, you don't. Also, everyone gets 1 XP.
Including the capybara who did not engage in this at all.
Well, the capybara can give me an intelligence roll difficulty 3. Anything you have to make people more like you, well, like you more rather, or be amicable to things that you do, could be considered an asset in this case. You are attempting to convince them of a thing.
What was the base difficulty?
I think I said 2.
I'll just roll that.
Okay, so
10.
a 10 beats that. So as you are walking over to your friends with the edge of a paper plate in your mouth, holding an entire funnel cake covered in powdered sugar, you see Quartz holding a teddy bear 1/3 their size, which means it's larger than you, giving
Gracious.
Trajectory a hug.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yes.
I will put down my plate of funnel cake and I will delicately pick it up in my paws like a little squirrel and nom it.
Okay. Give me a speed.
Oh, hey, it's
task
Phelan.
difficulty 3. You are rolling for powdered sugar. This is not the first time in a campaign that I have made someone roll for powdered sugar because funnel cake. And it will not be the last, so help me.
Difficulty 3, you say?
Yes.
4.
With a 4, you are a powdered capybara.
This does not bother Phelan one bit.
I did not expect it to.
Good.
Okay. Quartz.
Hey, Philip, I got some wires, and then Quartz got a bear. It's not a real bear, but it's squishy.
It is very squishy.
Quartz.
Phelan
and-
nods to both of these.
Oh, actually, you know what? All 3 of you roll a d6 for me. Okay. So that's 2 2s and a 3. All right. I am going to give each of you a cipher. You still have the same max number of ciphers that you're allowed to have. This will likely take each of you over, so you decide which of your ciphers you get to keep. Okay?
Okay.
It will not take me over. I only have one cipher.
Well, then And you're just going to get a Cypher, and you're going to have to live with that.
Yep.
I hope you're okay.
Yep.
See, Trajectory and Phileme are getting Cypher number 2. That would be this one. Make sure I'm dragging the correct one. Phileme and Trajectory. But Quartz is getting a different Cypher. There we go. Which Cyphers did they get? I will allow that to come into play when they choose to use them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. This is a different list from the list I made last session.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So you have successfully defeated my Carney game and funnel cake puzzles. You can continue to play games. You could go on a ride. You could wait until the concerts. You could also wait until the fireworks, but you'll be waiting past the concerts for that.
I'm going to use
You
that
also-
Cypher and keep the other 2.
Okay.
Same. How do I do that?
I alt-clicked the name to put it into chat.
I just realized some GMs are going to really hate that Cypher.
Mhm.
Tell me about that
Which
character.
one?
Tell me about that character.
Yes.
Tell me about that character. What about that one? What about this one?
I have had to deal with Mercurians and Malachim and Lilim and whatevs. I will make up things.
I have not spent more than 30 minutes of prep time on any one of these sessions for this particular campaign. Bring it. Just be prepared for everyone to be named some version of Bob.
We're in Ursula V universe.
There's Bob. There's their brother Bob. There's their other brother Bob. There's Uncle Bob.
There's Bob. There's
Bob.
yeah.
There's Barbara.
There's Thrush Bob the bird.
There's Bob.
There's
Bob.
the
Bob.
sourdough.
Baran.
Bob the sourdough starter. That's one of the books, the T. Kingfisher books.
The Guide to Defensive Baking. I really like that
Yep.
book. I like the magic system in it.
Mm-hmm.
Where the wizard who can throw a lightning bolt is like, okay, actually, in day-to-day life, this is not very useful at all.
Mm-hmm. But baking, now that's useful.
Exactly. So, Ellie has established that she does not wish to split the party, and she wants to see what other people are doing. I'm assuming that is still the case.
Yes.
Okay. So, Phileme, you are covered in powdered sugar and full of funnel cake.
Well, that'll last for a little while. So, lick the paws, wipe off face a little bit. Lick, lick. Sugar, lick, lick.
It
Observe.
You observe. What do you observe?
Observe Quartz
Okay.
to see where Quartz and Trajectory are headed next. They've not gotten
you
into
hear
too much
them.
trouble without me, so that's good.
I am not certain that we can solve the weight limit puzzle.
They probably do not want you on the rides. This is true. Is there a guess the weight game anywhere?
There is.
Elam would like to nudge Quartz in that direction.
Quartz will be nudged.
Okay. It's a simple stand. It's made to be very portable. There is a small scale that is on the ground with a sign that they just have a spike on the end of it that is sticking into the ground that says, I guess your weight. If I can't guess your weight, you win a prize. And there's like a bunch of keychains and stuff. It costs $1. And
Phelan will dredge out $1, possibly with assistance from their little pouch,
okay.
and then nudge Quartz towards it.
The person running it has a phenomenal looking curly mustache, which usually when you see this kind of mustache, it's a cartoon character. You're fairly certain that this is their actual hair. And they say, well,
Impressive.
why, thank you very much, young capybara.
Nod.
That pause is canon.
Mhm.
I'm saying that so I remind myself that there is a pause there in case I do the little edit out the pauses thing and it takes it out and I have to put it back.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's see. I guess your weight is... 1 second.
Points
I
it to
Google
Quartz.
Average weight. Now look, you're the one paying. You're the one whose weight I guess.
Quartz sighs and is okay,
How about
fine
this?
about this.
How about this? Here, take this $1 back.
Mm.
Hand it to
Gives
your
it
friend.
$1 to Quartz.
Gives
$1 to Quartz.
I see that you are picking up what your friend there has put down. Why, thank you. Now I will guess your weight. They guess a number that is, the base unit is in tons, not pounds. You do appear to be made of stone.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a might defense roll.
Okay.
This is going to be A difficulty of I'm not saying.
And I am trying to find my. I suppose I don't have anything for a might defense roll specifically.
That's
Therefore,
perfectly fine. There's also nothing in your character sheet that specifically involves carnival games.
indeed, I was trying to look for might defense rolls.
That's a
The-
5. Okay.
Yes,
So
at least, but it beats difficulty 4.
I'm just gonna sit here with my chin in my hand, with a smile on my face, with the knowledge that from you, because superpower game, a 5 beats difficulty 4.
Can I make a might defense roll? Yes. I have a lot
I
of
love
resilience
this.
power shifts.
This is perhaps not how the game mechanics were supposed to work for what I was asking you to roll for, but I am all for it. However, we are not going to say exactly what happens next. What we will say is what happens after that, which is you are walking away from that game with a new keychain that is very clearly worth less than the dollar that was paid to play the game. But that's how these games work.
Mhm.
And another game is out of order for repairs.
Oh no.
You stepped on the scale. The scale failed its might defense roll.
Very much so.
Phelim sighs tragically and has patted the poor fellow on the leg and possibly fished out another dollar just to hand it to him.
Ellie, what you posted to Memes and Joke. We will not discuss it in this recording, but that puts a smile on my face. It's wonderful. All right. Well, the games are starting to wind down. There's more and more of them that are starting to close up. It might be because they see you coming at this point, or maybe that's just your imagination. But also, it is getting a bit later. The craft show seems to have wound up, and there's still some festivities going on tomorrow. So most of the craft show has people like covering up their tables with tarps and stuff for when they go home. And it looks like the bands are getting ready to perform. Which performance do you wish to see? The big band, Cool Dads, or Giga Unalive?
Well, I don't think I'm quite fast enough to see all three of them.
They are positioned so that you might hear all of them from a location, but you shouldn't. The mashup is specifically for people who are able to adjust the time signatures of the songs being played to actually have them line up.
What are the different kinds of music that they're playing?
So the big band is going to be playing music that is reminiscent of jazz that you can dance to. Probably there's going to be some swing songs in there, but it won't all be swing. Based on what you heard from when they were tuning up and practicing. The Cool Dads band is going to be playing cover songs from the 80s and 90s. And Giga Unalive, there is going to be a lot of sound. Yes, you can definitely say that there will be sound. If you enjoy lots of sound, possibly played very fast, and lyrics that may or may not involve screaming, then they are definitely the band for you.
And feel him take off very sort of hold up one paw, pat. Actually, yes, there's a better thing. Feel him will hold up a paw, pat their ears, hold their ears down, point over to where the crafts are, and then offer Trajectory their money pouch. Phelan wants to know if there are earmuffs being sold at the craft store.
Oh, sure, I'll find out.
Phelan wants some. That's
Okay.
why the money pouch is being handed over.
Okay, so to do a search, I'm going to say it's an intellect task. I'm going to say that you're able to search quickly because speedster. So let's lower the difficulty to 2.
Let's hope I roll better than I have been.
That's a 12. All right. So yes, you find a table with a very sad looking person who is slowly packing up. Their table is filled with crocheted earmuffs. They don't seem to have sold any, possibly because they are selling crocheted earmuffs in late spring.
Yeah.
Also some of the color choices, but probably because they're trying to sell them in late spring.
Is there one that matches my color scheme?
I'm going to scroll up to look at your color scheme again, not because I don't know if they have one or not, because I want to say what colors they are. So turquoise and bright yellow. Yes, they have a few that are that color scheme. One of them has.
If there are 3, I will buy all 3.
Okay. So you come back. You have 3 sets of turquoise and yellow crocheted earmuffs.
I hand them out.
Phelim sits up, holds up their little paws, receives it, pet, pet, pet over the ears. And then we'll head for the Giga Unalive.
Quartz probably doesn't hear that way because I did not give them traditional ears, but they are just happy to be included, and so therefore they are going to put the earmuffs on and also head towards Giga Unalive.
I was going to say,
Okay, that's where I'm headed too.
The character art for Quartz is very small in Foundry right now, but I wasn't sure that Quartz had ears. Also, Phelim's ears, because Capybara, are at the top of Phelim's head. So the earmuffs are kind of precariously perched, but I am here for this content.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who can wear
Exactly.
the earmuffs as they are designed to be worn is Trajectory,
Mm-hmm.
who did the purchasing and picked the color scheme. So this works out fine. Okay, so you go to the Giga Unalive show. It has a fairly decent-sized crowd for a small town. It's a variety of people who are attending. It's possible that the fact that this is a Make-A-Wish show has actually drawn more people. You hear some people talking about how the kid who is the reason why they're here is actually going to be performing on stage with Giga Unalive. That was their wish.
Oh.
Yes. And there's more setup, and there's people who come on stage. There's an opening band who comes out and they play some music, and okay, well, that's kind of nice, and they get some polite applause. There's some people up front in the mosh pit. There wasn't supposed to be a mosh pit. I must make it clear. There was not supposed to be a mosh pit. There is a mosh pit. It is possible that a lot of the chairs that were set up have been politely moved to the sides so that there can be a mosh pit. Some of the people in the mosh pit probably should not be in the mosh pit.
Uh-oh.
The same elderly man who was talking to you earlier is like, I've never felt so alive!
Keep
Phelim
an eye on
like to
him.
have uppies. Yeah. Can Phelim have uppies?
Phelim can have uppies.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Please consider Phelim sort of stretched out in Quartz's grasp, delicately adjusting their earmuffs over their ears and looking basically like a very relaxed, calm capybara.
In other words, you're looking like a capybara.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the opening act goes off stage, as I've said, and over to the side, there are some kids who have been playing, possibly because their parents are in the mosh pit, possibly because their parents are somewhere in town and the kids walked here. But it's a fairly warm late spring day, so they brought their water guns and they've been tossing water balloons at each other, as children will do in a public park when left unattended. And then there is a sound and the stage lights go out. Apparently a water balloon hit something the water balloon was not supposed to hit.
Oh.
I am headed for the stage.
Okay. I will say that you are on the stage faster than it took for you to say I'm headed for the stage.
Speedster.
Yes. Do you want to be next to the stage or on the stage?
On the stage.
Okay. You are on the stage. The members of Giga Unalive are like 2 of them are on the stage. Like the drummer is there. And there's a guy with a keytar who was connecting wires to it. And they're both just looking at the fact that you magically appeared there. Your outfit is Dayglow, even with the stage lights off, they see you.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just making sure nobody was injured on stage.
Ah, okay. Did you just do that? Because if you just did that, we're gonna have a conversation.
Wasn't me. Something about a water balloon.
A what?
Just making sure nobody's hurt.
Oh, Frank, weren't you supposed to waterproof those cables? I did. No, the cables that we use for the power hookup. Oh. Well, I'm gonna go have to see if there's a fuse. That's probably a fuse that's blown. Hold on. They walk off stage. They put their keytar down and walk off stage. You are now on
I
stage
will follow them.
alone with. Okay, you walk off stage. So you know what's up. Giga Unalive knows what's up. You walk past the other members and a small child who appears to be wearing full grease paint to make themselves look like a skeleton. Yes, it's adorable. But most of the crowd does not appear to know what is up. Someone could get on a microphone and tell them the microphone would require power. So there's some polite whisperings and then some not polite whisperings. And
hang on. I'll be right back. Actually, keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll keep doing what I would be doing if you weren't here. Okay. Is it this fuse? No. Is it this fuse?
I will duck up to this, back up to the stage.
That one's live. Okay, you're on the stage.
I am using charge to... Do I know how any of this works? Activate the microphone.
I'm sorry, the wording. I'm using charge to do I know how any of this works? Which I suppose is very fitting because I'm fairly certain this is not how charge is supposed to be used.
Details.
I'm not saying you can't do this. I will say that I will ask for an intellect roll to make sure you do not overcharge, because this is meant for ciphers. Oh, no, sorry, except for ciphers. Artifact or other device. We do want to make sure we don't overcharge. Tasks unmodified. Beast of... Yep, I'll say that's okay. Yeah, the microphone, this one microphone appears to be working.
Okay, I tap on it. Testing, 1, 2.
The crowd volume changes slightly, but it's like that thing where you can have a class full of students and you can be the loudest voice in there because you have a microphone. Not that I'm speaking from personal experience. And there'll be someone in there who says they didn't hear you when the class 2 doors down from you did in fact hear you. This might be why not everyone in the crowd hears you tap on the microphone.
Hey folks, water balloon hit something in the power lines. Anyway, blew a fuse. Replacing it now. Ben will be on soon.
You hear a woman's voice go, Billy Matthews Montgomery! There is a yelp coming from over where the water balloon fight was happening, and you hear the sound of flip-flops taking off at speed. Yeah, you better run!
There's a ripple of amusement in the crowd, no doubt.
Oh, yes, things are diffused, except for the fuses. Well, one of them is also diffused. That's part of the problem.
All right, you guys enjoy the concert, and I will run back off to the fuse box.
As you're doing that, the lead singer is there with the little kid, and he's like, so that microphone going to keep working?
Maybe.
Good enough for now.
Ought to.
Thanks. And
don't know what happens when it hits real power.
We'll find out. So the lead singer comes over and says, how's everyone doing tonight? And everyone's screaming and everything. All right, I'd like you to meet the latest member of Giga Unalive, Skullface. And he takes the microphone and like turns the little height adjuster thing, brings it all the way down, and then leans it at an angle so that it goes further down.
Aww.
And the dads in the audience have gotten out their handy pocket flashlights so they can shine them on the kid.
Oh, yes. There's one that has a flashlight that clearly takes C-cell batteries.
Yes. They
keep it in a holster just in case. Like, you see, my wife keeps saying I'm crazy for carrying this around. But you know what? The person next to him is like, but you weren't supposed to bring it into the mosh pit, you know. Not the mosh pit.
Oh no.
I wasn't in the mosh pit. I was adjacent to the mosh pit. Totally different. Adjacent. If the mosh pit moved around me, well, that's the mosh pit's problem. Anyway, this competition is happening while the rest of the crowd is like cheering for this little kid. And he sees the microphone held up to his mouth and he looks around and he gets this big grin on his face, the kind of grin that you see from a small child when they're told that they may now break something.
Oh boy.
And they realize that they've been told they may now break something. That something is your eardrum. And he screams out what you are later told is an accurate rendition of the first few lines of one of Giga Unalive's hit songs.
Hey, he's not bad.
Ellie?
Anyway, I can probably swap these out faster and and maybe not get quite as hurt because I already do the lightning stuff.
That'd be a good idea because I can't feel 5 of my fingers at this point.
Yeah, all right. Let me take over.
Okay. Give me. I'm not going to require a speed roll because, frankly, that's a given for you. But I'm going to ask for an intellect roll, difficulty 3, because changing fuses is more than just swapping everything.
Okay, I'm actually going to put effort into this, and I'm glad I did.
Okay. Beats difficulty 1. Am I reading this wrong? You eased it by 2 steps. You rolled a 4. That should beat more than difficulty 1.
I forgot to put the base difficulty in.
Oh, so yeah, that should add up. Also, that's a 14. So
yeah, I did.
Yeah, that works.
I didn't. I wanted to see if clicking the reroll button would bring the window up again.
Okay. But yeah, ease 2 steps, beating difficulty 1 would beat difficulty 3.
Yes.
With the 4 anyway. So with that said, just as the microphone starts to have the volume go down and down and down and down, at that exact moment, you change the last of the blown fuses. All of the lights come on. The lead guitarist immediately hits their guitar, and it goes into this loud. There are some who would refer to it as obnoxious riff. I'm not going to say everyone referred to that, but some people who may or may not be related to me would call it that. The drummer goes into their piece. The guitarist was the one who was there with the fuse changes, and he comes over like before the chorus happens. He's there on the guitar, and the crowd goes wild. The mosh pit's going wild. Congratulations, you all get another XP for solving another GM intrusion.
Woo!
Why, everyone?
So
because I want you to level up together if possible.
Hooray!
Yeah, but we do tend to spend our XP. However, I do have a question.
Yeah.
How much XP does it take to buy one of these tiki marks?
4.
4.
4. I am going to spend 4 because I want an intellect edge.
There you go.
Because there, no, not that one. Yes, a 1 on the edge. Okay, thank you.
And there is
Now
the
my
larger
animal
arc
shape-
that I remember of quartz.
No, that is not the larger art you remember. I was
That's
shading.
revised. Oh. This is the new and improved art. It is the
It's
same
on the
line
larger art
though,
that you
correct?
remember. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Now that you have specifically mentioned the shading, I am looking at the shading with a more critical eye, and well done.
Thank you.
All right. With that said, the rest of the show is enjoyable for those who like heavy metal. It is tolerable for those who don't. I am not going to make that decision for individuals. The trajectory art in Foundry has just updated. You may now check off the thing in the bingo card that says Hero Forge, because it's been mentioned in the recording. And then the fireworks are a blast.
Caleb is very pleased by all of this. The feeling of the sound reverberating with ear protection was certainly an experience. And now you have the serene capybara lit by the glow of the fireworks going off.
The fireworks company.
Serenely.
The fireworks company is called Noodle Fireworks Incorporated. The mascot appears to be a hooded figure with glowing eyes.
Oh no.
There actually is a fireworks company in Pennsylvania whose mascot is a hooded figure.
Concerning.
Yeah, it's Phantom Fireworks, right?
Yes. I drive past a billboard for them every time I go up to see my parents in Pennsylvania. And apparently a previous tenant in my current apartment was on their mailing list. If you live in an apartment and you're on the mailing list for a fireworks company in a state where fireworks are not legal, I have concerns.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But that person doesn't live here anymore. I do. Anyway, on this wonderful note, with fireworks and loud music and very comfortable earmuffs, I think that's where we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, and Io, who would like to plug a thing that may or may not be deep fat fried.
Ew,
Well,
Mom.
Theo's mom writes deep fried books.
I do not. I write ebooks. Don't deep fry fat your e-reader. It will not work.
It would not meet the disclaimer that it must be edible before it is deep fat fried. They do not want the microplastics to leach out into the batter.
You can find the completely non-fat fried, fat-free, calorie-free, but hopefully very tasty ebooks at elizabethmccoy.com.
But are any
And
of them
speaking
food for
of,
thought?
possibly bits and pieces of some of them, but I'm not going to say where they are. You'll have to find them yourself, because I'm not going to tell you what you have to think about. Yeah, go think about something. And speaking of fat-free, calorie-free,
I don't qualify.
carbohydrate-free,
I do not
gluten-free.
qualify. I definitely do not qualify.
You have gluten.
You are what you eat.
Hmm.
It's not fully digested yet, but yes, there is gluten in me now. Because I just had supper. But never mind about that. But you can listen to
But
all
the
of our podcasts, which are also not fat fried, deep or otherwise, by going to aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. You can also follow us on the Fediverse at is.aaronbsmith.com/@cogwheel, or join our Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming, where you would join other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shen Shen, Walter, Liv Droman, and Patron Emeritus Cindy. And until next time, this is Crash saying Utini. Good night, everybody.
Good night.